TGIF, thank God it's Friday. Welcome on board to the Friday edition of Spring Trends right here on Western Spring Television, where we say it as it is. What we do on Spring Trends is we look at trending matters. What is trending, who is trending, why they are trending, where they are trending, and reactions on social media. Talking about reactions, you never can tell. We can get to read your reaction from here. So, keep tweeting, keep sending those messages on your different social media pages, and also ensure to follow us. Follow Western Spring Television on Facebook, on Instagram, and X at Western Spring Television. Also, watch us live on YouTube at Western Spring Television. My name is Evelyn Ohiolei, and you already know that it is my best day of the week. I don't know about Femi. Femi would always say every day is the Lord's day.
Is the Lord's
but
day,
we know
really.
that the Lord has favorites.
This is the day that the Lord has made. We will rejoice and be glad in it. With this, I welcome myself and I welcome you. Thank you.
All right. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Let's get right into the job for the day.
Right.
Our very first story is the ruling that happened, the court judgment, in Kano State yesterday, where the Emir, the 15th Emir of Kano, Ado Bayero, was actually said that he should not be removed as the Emir. The now Emir imposed or installed by the state government, Sanusi Lamido Sanusi, was removed. Breaking following today's court ruling, the Kano State government has instructed the Kano State Commissioner of Police to promptly remove the 15th Emir Aminu Ado Bayero from Nasarawa Palace, which is owned by the state. The Kano government has announced that the properties are set to undergo demolition for the purpose of reconstruction. We know that this is Nigeria and this is just a political play. We know when these politicians want to get what they want, they do all sorts, and this is one of them. Why is it now that the palace is set up for renovation? You remember what happened in River State, where the state House of Assembly complex was pulled down because the governor said it is not fit or it is not habitable.
You know there was an incident of fire.
Yes. Is a fire or an explosion?
Yeah, an infernal thereabout, and so the walls are not strong again.
Yes, it's not fit, it's not habitable. But then this is Kano State. We are going to the commercial hub right now in Kano. Let's take reaction at 145CXLV. This is giving me mathematical vibes. I really do not get what the 15th Emir's plan was. How do you intend to be Emir in a state where the governor doesn't want you? Who is counseling him? Femi, what do you think? I mean, is it a matter of what the government wants or what is right? At 145
I see you having issue with those figures.
Yeah.
No wonder you choose this part and
I
love the
wasn't
figure.
really that good with maths in secondary school.
Except there is a dollar sign at the back.
Exactly.
You'll be accurate.
Yeah, So, but let's take other reactions. That Wala Man says Aminu Ado should learn from Sanusi and live in peace. Eric Eso Imeme, Eric the Great says, for Bara approach, demolish to settle political scores and then use state money to rebuild. The same governors claiming that they cannot afford the minimum wage proposed by Labour have no issues with demolishing properties worth billions and then rebuilding with state funds. And at Ajibola_0804, this is becoming a very shameful debacle in the life of the revered emirship. Tell me what are your thoughts? Because when I actually saw, the report, when I saw that news, I was tired. Let me just use the Nigerian word. I was tired. My tired was tired. You hear state governors say that there is no money, they don't have state funds and all of that. But when it comes to things that actually are of interest to them, they go all out. They do whatever they can. The monies are available to do everything. All of a sudden, the money just appear from nowhere. Your thoughts, very quick.
Just like you said.
On the judgment and the decision of the government.
The judgment, it's worrisome, not because of who said it, but because of what we are seeing. You know, and when you talk about law, you talk about antecedents.
Yeah.
Jurisprudence is basically, you know, mostly based on antecedent. What has happened before? That's why you see learned people quote in 1960 the case between these and these. So nothing really, in a kind of way, is mostly not new. There have been issues. There have been such cases before that have been decided, which present itself as you know antecedent in that particular regard. But then this is what we are seeing: Federal High Court entertaining these kind of issues. I mean, legal luminaries has come out to say that is not right as well. And it's not just in the case of traditional institutions, but having very court judgment using the same, I mean, the same constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria to judge these matters under sometimes similar circumstances is a lot. We don't have that. And the NJC have been talking, people calling for the NJC, they have been talking on these kind of issues to say, all right, reining in judicial officers not to bow to pressure. You remember, like a month ago, and they have been sanctioning some erring judges as well. So we expect them to come out this time again to stand their ground to say these hallowed section of our nation, the hallowed chambers, will not be desecrated to the whims and caprices of the big guys. That on one side. Now, talking about the demolition, you mentioned the case of Rivers. You forgot what happened in Edo as well. The assembly issues, you know, during Governor Obaseki, still there, by the way, before the last election.
Took off the roof.
You know, he learned that was the time that we are supposed to have done renovation. They took off the roof. They you know, they pour sand and stones. You know, on that money that the assembly was supposed to sit, that was when they remembered that this roof is leaking. And then they poured the sand, truck dropped sand at the entrance. So where do you? How do you enter? How do you sit? These are the things that politicians do. We don't have to hide under, you know, behind a finger. When it's time to do something, just like we have eloquently said, everything will just work together for it. But when it's time to have the conversation that it has to do with the generality of the people. Now, did the governor and the government, rather, let me say the government of Kano State, they just realize that Nasarawa mini palace needs renovation. And it's that time that Adebayo is there. I would just say, I don't want to meddle because that's a reverse institution in the affairs, but I think people really need to rein in the big wigs to say, okay, let's follow our laws. But then the people that wants to follow law, they are still seeing conflicting judgment in these issues. So you don't really know where to stand. I would just say, you know, somebody tweeted, and I want to go along that line to say, when Emir Sanusi was deposed, he didn't fight it. By the way, he didn't even have any chance to fight it. He said it wasn't invited. Everything was done. The moment it was pronounced, trucks were ready to just move him and his people to Nasarawa State into exile before they found their way to Lagos. And these are the issues as well. I think there is a part of honor to be told. Let everybody involved told that part of honor. That would be my take on that.
All right, let's move over to our next story this morning. You can see the picture on my screen, and that's the picture of actor and politician Kenneth Okonkwo, and he has been in the news, you know, very recently. I mean, from 2022 up until now, especially having to do with issues of the presidential election, the aftermath, pre-presidential and post-election of, you know, the presidential position. Let's watch this video. We'll come back to take reaction.
You want to tell them they won't even have the right to choose who their leaders are. And you want them to join your party? You're a joker. Those people, they are clowns. Greatest joke that I've ever seen in any political party. And then you want to position yourself as a party of integrity. You can't give what you don't have.
So I'm sure that social media is currently on fire with that video, and you know, with what Kenneth Okonkwo, who is a chieftain of the Labour Party, has expressed, you know, saying that he's not impressed with the recent development in Labour Party, and also, you know, saying that the Labour Party is like a secret society run by clowns. You know, he said a whole lot in that interview. And when I said social media will go up in flames,
It's in flames already.
you know what I'm talking about, because he is a vocal member, a vocal chieftain of the Labour Party, especially in the last general election. And he's saying that he will not rule out the possibility of him defecting if Labour Party continues in this trajectory. Where
Defecting to where?
he didn't say the party, but you know what, like they always say, there are no permanent enemies, permanent friends in politics.
Absolutely.
Today you might
Absolutely.
be here, tomorrow you are there singing
That's
the
it.
praises of those you condemned earlier. Let's take reactions. Okay, so let's see. Viva Dido at Viva Dido says, no permanent foe, no friend in politics. Mind what you say to your friends over differences in political views
I tell you.
today. And Akwazo One says the same thing is said when he left APC. Confused man. Let's see. Araba, okay, at Pura Araba says, why do young Nigerian politicians like to ruin themselves by creating an impression of unsteadiness? Is it anger? Their conduct is not leaving Nigeria with any hope of having decent leadership in the near future. And at Healthy Corner _1, wonderful wonderment. Individual character should be considered during elections, not political party. Are you surprised? Are you shocked, Femi? You know, with this recent development in Labour Party, it seems the center is not holding in Labour Party, and the crisis that we thought it was just the issue of Bure and all of that has actually trickled down to some other members of the
Bure and
party.
Apapa.
First, it was Donyo Kukwe
Yeah.
leaving, and we know what is happening with Donyo Kukwe at this time. Now it
He has
is
been
Kenneth.
praising the president to the high heavens.
Exactly. Now it is Kenneth Okonkwo. What is this giving? What is this saying?
I think I'm not particularly surprised because hold an average Nigerian politician, hold them, you know, in high haste. No, don't let me use that. Hold them tightly to your chest at your own peril, especially at their decisions. You know, these are the things you hear, you know. But many persons will be surprised, especially how vocal the Oga actor was, Kenneth Okonkwo. You know, he loved to play Prince when he was still active. He's always the Prince that's always cheated.
And the way he talks, he talks like an emperor.
You know, even when he's being cheated, one prince from one kingdom will come and carry his betrothed woman. You know, that's just on the lighter side. But then, you know, it speaks to what you have always known, the Nigerians, the generation that had identity and ideology. I think the last of those Mohicans are almost gone. You know, we usually easily point out to the US to say we have the Republicans, we have the Democrats among many choices. But then there is a hardline policy that you know this is the policy of the Republicans.
Yeah.
When it comes to border control, immigration issues, you know that there is a particular party that frowns at that. There is another party that, you know, lenient with that, as we have with Joe Biden right now, you know. And Trump, representing the ideology of his own party, has said it's America for America. He wouldn't renege, even if you don't like it. That's what it is. That doesn't mean there cannot be, you know, some Georgia, you know, when it has to do with it. But then when you see Nigerian politicians come with this kind of calling a dog a bad name just to hang it, is like the Labour Party is run at a court. Since when, Oga Kenneth? Since when did you discover? Well, he's not the first. You remember a certain Daniel Bwala,
Yeah.
you know, of the APC, who called the PDP any kind of name that you might want to see. You know, very recently he jumped ship. You know, he hasn't renounced it. I mean, he jumped before the election to the PDP. He was speaking for the campaign council.
Yeah. Yes.
And you need to see what he said about Shiwaju. But he even said, let them give him 30 years or so. There's nothing he will do. APC is a certain party of this and this. All of a sudden, in the past few months, you see that the same Daniel Bwala has changed his tongue, and you can see what he's saying already. Donyo Kukwe left the campaign council due to reasons best known to him. Recently, you could see the tone of his language as well. Now you are seeing Kenneth Okonkwo. Nobody should be surprised.
But don't you think Kenneth Okonkwo, you know, according to him, it says that the way the Labour Party is being run is more like a secret cult. Now, it says they do their issue, there are things in secret. For example, they said he didn't know when Labour Party was having a convention. He is a spokesperson. He was a spokesperson rather at the last presidential election, so he feels he should be carried along. Now, you know, he said the Labour Party convention, he learned about it on social media. He said things are not done that way. And he also said that, you know, it's the greatest joke he has seen in a political party, and the party wants to position themselves as a party of integrity. You cannot give what you do not have.
Evelyn, everything will be wrong when you are ready to jump ship.
So you think Kenneth is saying all of this because he wants to defect?
Even if those things have been there, are you telling me is this last 1 week that you found out? When they are ready, now he should have just stand alone. How come you're saying he's not seeing the possibility of jumping ship? You know there is a decision made already. Nobody is freaked by all these things. Oga Kenneth, you have the right. It's your fundamental right to jump. But nobody should, you know, the next election will soon be here. We have some off-cycle election. Yeah. But the issue is they know us as Nigerians. They know what we want to hear. People will forget these things and they will still shout Hosanna. All the best to everybody.
Awesome, wonderful wonderment.
Wonderful wonderment.
Yeah, and you know, in Kenneth Okonkwo's tone, this is not over until it is over.
You will say.
You will say.
Jump ship, you are allowed.
The next story this morning. Apapa Customs sets a new record of 17.9 billion naira daily collection. This is according to the comptroller. At whose, you know, at what expense? Is it the citizens that are paying for it? Obviously, you know what is going on at the, you know, ports there. Oluwasegun says, then why are we still borrowing? Pato Ena says, useless info, especially when naira has devalued and the customs clearing rate has increased over 3 times since last year. Give us the value in dollars. That's a better metric. And Michael Praise says, keep collecting and causing inflation. The more you tax importers, the more you strangulate Nigerians who have to pay through the nose to buy goods. And Growth Mindset says, every custom duties are not good for SMEs and companies. FG can focus on taxing luxury goods and remove custom duties from essential commodities like food, drugs, and industrial raw materials. Your thoughts very quickly, Femi.
I think... do
you think this should be celebrated or this calls
if
for
actually,
caution?
we should check the metrics, you know, that was followed, that was used in arriving at these so-called record-breaking kind of achievements. If we are making a lot of money, revenue, we need it. We need money. The nation needs money. I need money. Everybody, you do. But then as a nation, we need it. Everyone that we can get. But then at what expense? How are you getting these things? Is it just about announcing that you are doing well? And then is it reflecting on the economy? Somebody is asking. So when you are making more than 17 billion naira daily from that particular port, not all the ports are Papa ports, you know. So we're still borrowing money, you know. Are we having all these things at the platter? Do government realize all these things as real? Because it's not just into banding around figures. Do we have it? Is he paying us? Somebody talked about, and it is true. The cost of importation has been increased, adjusted almost 3-4 times upwardly. And who gets to pay? You are saying you are making money. Who is paying for all these things? How are these things affecting us? Now, let me just round off quickly, and I need a minute for this. The state of, this is not mouthing, the state of foodstuff. Let's talk about the basic tomato and pepper. Do people realize what it is? Now, we have been hearing there was tomato virus or tomato blight or something, tomato Ebola. Yeah. So we should live with it. So what are you doing? Is it not the time to open our doors, even if it's only to import tomatoes from nearby countries that are not having this, so that things could be better? These are the issues. Even if it's only for 2 weeks, while we try and salvage what we could do about the tomato Ebola. Tomato Ebola is there, so we live with it. Everybody is watching. So the few farms that doesn't have Ebola, people have to pay through their nose to have the product from the... Is that how you run a country? Yeah. And somebody, if we are bringing, let's imagine that we open our doors to do importation now, somebody will tax that particular product and you say you are making records. I mean, record earnings. It's bad. It's silly, in my opinion, because that's just the way to put it. 17 billion naira. Is it reflecting? That Papa Port and the Lagos State and all of us, do we look like people that are making money? Is as good as that.
All right, that's a big question there from Femi. All right, as we know, this is where we pull the brakes on the show this morning, the Friday edition, TGIF edition of Morning Spring. And in the spirit of TGIF, just to, start your weekend. We know you've got lots of things to do during
We
this
need it.
weekend. Femi, do you have any parties? Were you invited for any parties?
For security reasons.
But then, our producer has wants us to actually shake up.
We need it.
Are you ready to shake up?
Honestly, we need it. We will not use tomato Ebola. I beg.
Are you ready to shake up?
We're very ready.
Okay,
very
so
ready.
let's have
We
it.
need it to unwind.
Let's see how Femi is going to be giving
Why
his
is it only
steps
Femi?
during the weekend. I am in charge, so I'm going to put you on the spot. So let's see, Femi. Let's have you. How are you going to be, giving us those dance steps?
Let's have the music.
Okay, so let's have the music.
When you are
then.
going from shoulder to shoulder, you know you are ready.
Oh yeah.
What are you doing here?
Yes, no.
Are you vetting?
Yeah. Why are you dancing with your head?
Oh, Yana.
Please.
Why not they come out?
Let them cut it, I beg.
Why? You can't dance to save your life. Oh, Yana.
I'm not going out though because of my. Wait for another interesting time. Until then, have yourself a great weekend. Let me leave my phone.